What's up, y'all? My name is Jeffery Pure Funk Mitchell, and I'm coming to you live on Memorex from an undisclosed location, yet on the other side of the street. I usually don't walk down this side because the sidewalk cuts off eventually and you gotta cross over, but I said I'll try it because the light was against me. Anyway, my name is Jeffery P. Funk 1, Jeffery Pure Funk, and I stand firmly and proudly behind, with, or supporting, or part of P-Funk. Just between you and me, the P stands for pure, and that's funk apogee. You can read that in the liner notes of the Motor Booty Affair album. Primarily those 5 records by Parliament, and maybe 6 if you include the live version of Dr. Funkenstein, and you must exclude osmium or rhenium or whatever one, because as I've said many times before, I'm sure many of you heard me say this before, in my mind, funk started with Mothership Connection. The funk we know, the funk, if you say funk and the average common person thinks in their head, they're gonna think of an era where a bunch of bands, a lot of them from Ohio, from where I was born and raised. Speaking of which, I was born and raised 60 miles from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and 60 miles from the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And I'm all about that funk and them Steelers. Anyway, those 5 records are, I was gonna be dramatic and say the core of my existence, are at the core. I would say, let's just say, we can say that. That P-Funk ideology, I'm not sure if I want to use the word mythology, but that understanding that I got from it played a big part of me from being a teenager until this very day. But I'm a few years away from retiring. So I stand by it, and I always had. And there's a certain level of integrity that I carry for myself and for the things that I take pride in, or things that I'm invested in, or things that I, quote unquote, believe in. So when I first heard that Mothership Connection, and I got the record, I took it home and listened to it. What I did was listen to it. I listened to the words. I wanted to hear the words. What are they talking about? Is this something weird or silly, or, you know, something that didn't fit with my philosophy? And it did. And over the years, I've studied, I don't want to say every syllable, but I've been on top of it, following it. Some people have called me a policeman, a watchdog, or whoever it is, because the integrity of the ideology and what's put out there is very important to me. And I will say again, and I'll say again, I don't know how all them acid-eating Negroes, including Mr. Clinton, penned and written and told the story with such integrity. There's none, very few at the most times, where P-Funk ideology or P-Funk writings or lyrics or words or ideas are in direct conflict with each other. There's a consistency of philosophical positioning in this music and in this what we're doing that I try to maintain. All right, I'll throw one at you. right now, just to show you, because you got to make sure that the measuring instrument works. So to do that, you find where something is broken or out of line. Recently, it hits me when Mr. Clinton does that shit, goddamn, get off your ass and jam over knee deep. That might be somewhat blasphemous to me, in a way, quote unquote blasphemous. But years ago, Mr. Hampton pointed out to me that Sentimental Journey is blasphemous to knee deep in the middle of the live version. And Fat Cat Record Executive, those are deviations. Any deviation from the record is a blaspheme. And having said that, Knee Deep with Ms. Belita Woods and Kendra Foster singing Fat Cat and Sentimental Journey was for a very long time my favorite live song ever by anybody. In fact, I remember the first time I was there to hear Kendra sing Sentimental Journey part after Ms. Woods passed. I couldn't even face her. I had to turn around and look back. It was so monumental. It had so much, it was so much to me that I had to turn my back and look at the floor and just listen. I couldn't, it was too much. And I may be being dramatic and was having a good time in San Francisco because I remember where it was at. Maybe 15 years ago or something like that. But it was good. That's where I'm at as far as the integrity of the philosophy and ideology. Even though funk kind of portrays an idea of anything goes, it's all funky, whatever. If whatever goes, it's all good. Everything's funky, and I do believe this, I developed this idea. Everything is funky. Everything and anything can be funky or is funky. Because somewhere, somehow, somebody or something is gonna see whatever it is and say, damn, that's the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. No matter what, because we're just that diverse in thinking and consciousness and human understanding and perception. Forgot where I was going with that. But everything ain't funky. Everything is funky, but everything ain't funk. And to get more subjective, there's a certain way I believe the music should be played. There's a certain sound I like. Everybody has different sounds. I get that. You got your sound, I got mine, you know? And there's a certain pocket, there's a certain vibe to it, there's a certain energy. And in talking to many P-Funk musicians, people actually in the band, people who actually play it, you know, whether they be in the mother band or other bands or, you know, LA Magus, whatever. All the musicians agree there's a structure and there's an integrity, there's a plan, there's a layout, there's a way, there's a right and wrong. To put it crudely, because you know I don't believe in right or wrong, it just is. To put it crudely, there's a right way and a wrong way to play it. And of course, it can be debated any way you look at it, and that's good. I like that part. I like the fact that everything can be challenged. So the integrity and the sound of the music, the philosophy, the ideology, the words. In fact, I didn't like when Mr. Clinton did that, I ain't fucking with you. I mean, because I'm a bit of a prude, I ain't gonna lie. All this cussing and profanity and talking about I'm gonna do to your genitals and do to this and do to that. that people just casually do today strikes me as, it stings me. It strikes me in a non-positive way. I mean, I come from a day where we just didn't talk about things. You kind of let them happen or you did them. People get explicit with stuff now. But, again, and I've said before, I like, along with some of the music that Mr. Clinton releases, and some of the direction the stage show has gone, I all but have to give credit and, what's the word, not appreciation, but, you know, tip my hat to Mr. Clinton putting some of this stuff in the show that a lot of us old heads couldn't stand. I couldn't stand it, now it's growing on me. Because just like, well, a whole lot of shaking probably never grew on me. Even though I miss it today, I would love to hear it just for kicks. We used to hate that damn song. Oh my God, we used to hate it. He used to play it every goddamn show for like a long time. And just like the band took Poo Poo Man's hits, Poo Poo Man had a song called Hits. And then over time, the band played over it and did this and did that to it and tweaked it to one of my most favorite grooves or whatever jams that they can get into. So I understand that. And just like with the Shake the Gate stuff, Pole Power, Get Low, etc., the band has played over it. And for me, turning it into something that is becoming harder and harder to resist. And it's not that I was resisting. Oh, look, they're doing the bike path. Look at it. I wonder how far it goes. Probably goes around. I wonder how far down it goes. I'm gonna have to Google it. Because remember, it starts there. It ended here. Here's where I used to ride before. And then turn around and go back and go back and go back. Now you gotta cross the street. And it continues over there. But anyway, to Get Low, the Pole Powers. And my mama told me's and the whole 3GP thing. You know, because I ain't a fan of rap. You know, I ain't a big rap person. And the P stands for pure. So when they play Jump and such, you know, I'm like, okay. But I got turned around and I see the ticket buyers, the people who actually buy tickets to the show and don't be asking for passes or asking for somebody to get them in. The people who actually show up, buy tickets, is not my demographic. Basically, half my age and 10% of my, with 10% of my melanin. And white kids buy the tickets. They're the ones who supporting the show. So, and I really appreciate and understand and commend Mr. Clinton for working that stuff in the show. Because they love it. They love it. In fact, I was in the show the other day. I think this maybe 35-year-old black dude was singing the words to Pole Power. The refrain and everything. Blew my freaking mind. And he was singing one of them songs, 3GB songs, he do the rap. I'm like, Jesus. That's where I'm at. Like I said, them 5 records. Them 5 records from Parliament is my core and my, probably more than just my foundation, probably my whole ideology, whole idea. But, you know, there's other stuff in there. because I like the awesome power of a fully operational mothership too. And love the brides and parlay stuff. Oh my God. I like Love is Sunshine too. Love is what is Love is Something. And really give me the sunshine. Like all that. Anyway. Okay, not so much the funkadelic stuff. That's a different thing. But we needed that. All that needed to come together to form that sound. But anyway, having said all that, to be in this position that I am now, whatever it may be, financially, meaning I got disposable income to where I can actually travel the world to experience this deep passion that I have and be a part of, or at least experience. And for George Clinton, Parliament Funkadelic to be putting on a P-Funk festival, them doing it themselves. Now, they've sat back and they've watched other people do it. I've been involved with not involved, but I participated in other people doing it, other funk festivals, this, that. To see Mr. Clinton, the Clintons, the family, whatever you want to call them, what's the good word for the clan, do it, is very interesting. It's very, very interesting. And I will say that I know it's their first one, and there's gonna be hiccups, there's gonna be this, there's gonna be that. I done seen this done too many times. My people putting something on the first time. I ain't gonna say I lower expectations, but I expect, it's the first time, I'm gonna give them a break. Let's call it that, I give them a break. But so far, I'm liking the websites. So far, I'm liking the color of them. I'm liking the way I scroll and work. I'm liking that PfunkFest.com. I got my ticket. I bought a VIP ticket. The best ticket there was the meet and greet. I should have went ahead and got it just to support, because it was a chunk of change for sure. But I wanted to support because I have the disposable income. Like I said, the whole part of this, me being Jeffery thing, is that Jeffery went to school, Jeffery got educated, Jeffery developed a career, Jeffery has good credit, Jeffery has disposable income, so Jeffery can go out and do all the shit Jeffery wants to do. Making more money than I ever had in my life, comfortable, feeling good, love where I live, etc., etc. That's part of it too. You can talk about the funk philosophy and this and that, and how many times I've seen them, where I've been, and all that. How much support I can give. That comes from my career and developing who I am and what I am. And that's all part of it. That's all under the funk umbrella, under the Jeffery TV thing. Anyway, so I'm liking it. I'm watching them. I'm peeping. I got my idea who's running things or not running things, and I do like staying on my side of the fence. I take that back. I like staying on my side of the stage, as I say. It's their stage. It's up there. I don't worship the choir. I worship the ideology and the philosophy. But I understand how important it is to support the choir and to maybe even financially, be a contributor or donator or buy stuff, or, to pay my tithe, so to speak. Pay my tithe by attending concerts and doing this and doing what I can, by not getting in too much, because, I'm not a soldier or a servant. I'm just not cut out to be that person. I'm just not cut out to be, a not follower, but a team, a worker, group work or whatever. But we all do our thing, and I do what I do. We all do our thing. Whatever it is I do, I'm not even sure. I just be Jeffrey. That's the only thing I know how to do. Just be Jeffrey, and Jeffrey likes P-Funk, and Jeffrey wants, I guess I could crudely say Jeffrey wants P-Funk to be this, or I say more say, Jeffrey wants P-Funk to not be that, to not be this or that. And that's usually when something comes up that may strike me as outside definitely doesn't strike me. If something comes up that I feel is outside my idea what the P-Funk ideology or P-Funk, the integrity of P-Funk is. And to be honest to God, what you tell you, I even like that part. I even like when Mr. Clinton do something that I don't like, to put it crudely. I like it. I like to, get slapped around every now and then. In moderation, of course, very little moderation. I'm not gonna tolerate but so much. But, I like it when I don't get what I want. Mr. Payne, 420 Funk Mod. Bobby Easton. Not that I tell them what to do or anything. It's just that these guys or people have an idea of how they want the music, just like I do. And since they playing it and it's their music, they win. So I kind of dramatically not take it personally, but I dramatically say, hey, why are you playing that? Why aren't you playing this? I'm like, we're at a park in the hood. These Negroes want to hear Atomic Dog. And you playing Bust the Butt Resuscitation and funkadelic music I don't even know. I like that. And one time, in fact, Bobby Easton did a show, and I went just to hear what he was gonna play that I wasn't expecting or didn't know. And I was completely satisfied. He did exactly that. He took me some places I had never been before. And I enjoyed it. But when Mr. Clinton do that, it's not so much. Mr. Clinton's style, I never really did like his style. And in fact, I said decades ago, every time Mr. Clinton gets a chance to sing something, he's singing some doo-wop or something. Something non-funky. That's why I think that Parliament, which is the ultimate, as I've stated before, was birthed out of Bernie Worrell, William Collins, and George Clinton, all three. And probably some funkadelic under there, funkadelic undertone to the way the music was played and the grittiness of it, even though it was produced, because I didn't start liking the music until it was produced with the better technology of the 70s, that Mothership Connection sound. You couldn't get 10 years earlier, I don't think, and mass produce that sound 10 years earlier. When I heard that was it. When I heard that sound, I was like, that sound is special. What these folks are doing here is extremely special. And I chose them. I chose that Mothership Connection. I grabbed that 8-track, went home with it. And look where the fuck I am now. Look where the fuck I am now. Oh my God, I'm living in California, driving a car around, I got P-Funk on the license plate. So, and when I hear Mr. Worrell's music and Mr. Collins' music and Mr. Clinton's music separately, I enjoy it. I like it, but especially with Boosie's music, there's something missing. It's not Parliament, basically. I'm just saying that. It's not Parliament. It's Boosie. You hear Boosie's element in all of it. When you put all three of them together, and when I hear especially Mr. Clinton's music, it's really missing a lot of stuff that I think makes Parliament Parliament. I just love it so much. It's beyond love at this point. Love is thrown around too much. The word love is just thrown around way too much. It's just like a coverall. You say you love something, it's like you ain't got to say nothing else. You ain't got to explain it. You ain't got to even go into it. You can just say, I love it, and that's it. Okay, we get it. You love it. Okay, that's enough. But it's beyond love. I think there are things greater and deeper and more important and more significant than love. I'd rather have understanding, communication, trust, reliability, et cetera, than just love. Love is a mode of operation. Love ain't a solution to nothing. Love don't solve no equation. Love is a way to approach that equation. Love is the way to approach a situation. Doesn't tell you what to do. Doesn't tell you turn left, right, this, that, or that. It says operate more out of compassion, sympathy, and understanding, blah, 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 blah. Stuff that probably, it sometimes makes me nauseous to hear about. Because I don't think doesn't solve any equations. It just tells you how to go about doing it. So what I have for P-Funk, sure I love it, yeah. It's like with granddaughter too. Do I love her? Yeah, I love everything. you know you love your granddaughter. You know you love her. Yeah, I do, I probably do. But what does that mean? You know what I love? Her cognitive ability, how she responds, her personality, how she interacts, her physical ability, her accomplishments, how I grow, her wit. That's what I love. To see her progress. That's what I love, to maintain that progress. That's what I love. That's what I think is most important. And probably the same thing with P-Funk and P-Funk Band. Speaking of which, P-Funk Band, I'll state it again. It's very possible, at least in one logistic or another, or one metric or another, or one measuring idea or another, that the way the band is playing the music now is better than it's ever been played before. At the very least, you have to have that argument. At the very least, no, you don't have to do nothing. At the very least, that is a valid and reputable argument to make. You just can't throw that out. Oh, you mean Eddie Hazel? Oh my God, they're going. Oh, they had. Yeah. They may be, it's like you have a team full of superstars. Nah, I don't want to put it that way. that won't work. Let's just say you had a team full of superstars who played the music for a certain amount of time. And then now you got this crew who's been playing the same crew together, a team. They played this as a team. They worked on it. They worked stuff out. They talked stuff out. And even just through rehearsals of band, playing it over year after year, day after day, it's gonna get better. And this crew, this core, Denzel Cowan, I started with him on purpose, throw something at my man, the drummer, because I can't, he's like I said, he became part of the woodwork to the point where he's so solid that I forget to mention him sometimes. Mr. Curry, of course, Mr. Majosian, Mr. Scheider. I'm just trying to say to people who I think who be at sound check. And I don't know, because I don't be at sound check. So this is all Jeffrey subjective stuff. I'm just thinking of the people who I remember getting there early all the time and doing sound check. I remember Mr. Curry always sound check. Mr. Joseph was always there right by him, and the drummer was always there. And then every now and then I think Mr. Clinton made a sound check. I might be wrong, I could be incorrect, but that's just my idea. So they played the music together, traveled together, like 100 and something, 150 dates a year. So they together all the time playing the music. How could it not evolve into something more, quote unquote, better, creative, nuanced, as they pick up on stuff for playing for so long together? Because it was a time, and I probably don't need to say this, it was a time when when the music wasn't being played right. You know, of course, I don't believe in right or wrong, but you know what I mean. Wasn't played according to what Jeffery Pure Funk Mitchell thought it should be played. It wasn't coherent. You didn't feel it. It was just noise. It was often escalating to noise at some point. And don't get me wrong, on this last tour, or these last 3 dates or tour, whatever, it went off the rails a little bit, and I loved it. They got out of sync a little bit. You see them looking around at each other, and they had to play through it, and I loved it. It had been a long time since that happened. I remember one time, me and Oli was standing there at LA. We was right there. Mr. Clinton was like, right there. Oli was there, right there. And they got off the rails, and we both looked at each other, and we looked at Mr. Clinton, and he looked at us, and he went, where do I go from here? And I loved it, just to hear that funk chaos. It was good. Like I said, I missed it. It's been rare lately. And it was a couple bumps in this last tour. I used to call them collisions, where it got out of sync a little bit and you could hear a little boom. And I enjoyed it. Then it went back to being solid again, because it is solid. The groove is solid, the pocket, whatever you call it, is solid. And for the band to be at where it's at now, and I said, probably you can check my timeline or whatever, it's been getting better and better and better. Whatever better means to Jeffery Scott Mitchell, that's all we're talking about. And now look where we at. Here we have a PfunkFest. Supposed to be landing the Mothership again. It's supposed to be a movie. I mean, there's a lot of talk. It looks like, I ain't gonna say, well, it looks like the band is quote unquote cleaned up, polished. They put in their work. They may have rebuilt or built a reliability or their credit score in the music industry, or whatever you want to call it, reliability or, dependable. Because I definitely remember when there was a time where working with P-Funk was something that you wanted to do. And it was that was just part of the whole idea of what P-Funk is in the mythology, the kind of a dysfunctional party, crazy, out there thing. And there's something to be said about that, it not being that way. Well, of course, they're not young anymore. They're not, 20-something-year-old kids running around. Mr. Clinton ain't running around, young and doing stuff that young people do. I don't like using the word. I really don't like using the word, but it's matured. I really don't like using that word, because mature kind of indicates or points to that as you get older or more experienced, you're supposed to act a certain kind of way. And I don't like putting that in a box. I don't like putting that box. Now, all y'all heard me say box. I like putting my funk in a box. I like putting my funk in a box. And I think because funk wasn't put in a box and it wasn't clearly defined, maybe that's why it never developed into its own genre. You always had to go find it in hip hop or R&B. It was, funk is whatever you want it to be. All right, I walk in there and ask for funk, and they give me some Olivia Newton-John. But it's supposed to, funk is anything. But I digress. And I'm gonna say this too. for the for the Clinton family, Mr. Clinton, and like I said, I'm on the outside. I want to stay on the outside. There's a lot of stuff that I may be misinformed on, but I enjoy that. Being a fan, I like being on the outside. I really don't want to be too close to the inside. Number one, because the closer to the inside you get, the less anonymity you get, the more pressure there is to say and to not say things. And Jeffery TV is all about what Jeffery thinks, and unadulterated, unfiltered, unapologetic about that. And I could be wrong. Yeah, I could be wrong. I'm allowed to be wrong. Yeah, that's what it is. But maintaining my anonymity, I get to stay wrong. I could be wrong. I like being wrong. I like being wrong. I like when I go up there and I'm expecting something, Mr. Clinton and them do this. I mean, they've been doing it. Now that I think about it, I got to give it to them. I got to give it to them. Now that I really stop and think about it, I got to give it to them. He's supposed to stop when I'm walking by. These must be real Mexicans. These must be fresh off the boat Mexicans. See how he stopped? He kind of eased up a little bit. Tell your buddy to do that. Anyway, yeah, I got to give it to Mr. Clinton. Just certain songs. And I know there's been times when Mr. Clinton has pulled something out and been looking at me, knowing I'm gonna start jumping up and down like a fool. I done seen him. I've been standing right there, and he's sitting there looking. He said, watch what he do. Watch what he do when I play this. I know he be doing that. Because they opened up the Knee Deep. One time when they first opened up the Knee Deep, I didn't even know what song it was. It was so far out the box, I didn't even know what song they was playing. Because I looked up and I saw Mr. Scheider run to the microphone. I'm like, what the heck? And I'm like, stuff was going on. And I heard the I think they might have messed it up, which is okay. I got no problem with a band messing it up. I've even seen bands stop it and start it over again. I bet you that's maybe even part of the show. They probably say, all right, here's how we're gonna do this. But you go, whoa, start it over again. P-Funk will play through it. And I'm like looking, I'm like, what? I had no idea that was Knee Deep. Because they open up with it, just stuff like that. They'll pull something out. And then like Aqua Boogie, they pulled out Aqua Boogie a little while ago. Now they're playing Aqua Boogie. Last time they played it, it was tight, it was sharp, you could hear it. You could hear the snap, you could hear the bounce in it, the drop, whatever. I'm just throwing out words, I don't know. But you could feel it. I'm sitting there, I know. Like I said, if it's one thing I know, I might not know. In my over 200 times of seeing that band, I might not know when they play it right, but I sure as hell goddamn know when they play it wrong. On that part, it just my body reacts. I'm sitting there, my whole body just looks up and goes, what? And forget where I was going with that. Oh yeah, the surprises and innovation and how tight they are. And I said, this don't look like a band that's trying to quit, even though they on a 15th final tour in the last 2 years. Final farewell. I'm like, you ain't going nowhere. Number one, because that would leave me. That would be too painful for me to recognize and understand. You ain't going nowhere. You ain't going, we got the funk, ain't going nowhere. This shit, we got the funk, ain't going nowhere. Whatever song that is. Speaking of which, my mother was watching Kirk Franklin. She's into the gospel video. She was watching Kirk Franklin, they play Stomp. Kirk Franklin be going too far. He may be one of the only people who I really still want to see live in concert, and I will pay to go see him. He's one of the few people I want to go see live in concert still. I mean, that I haven't seen, and they play Stomp. I'm like, he going too far. I understand why people had a problem with him. He going too far. He doing too much dancing, too much hip hop. And they playing One Nation Under Group. I promise to stomp, the whole stomp, nothing but, I'm like, come on now. But anyway. Oh, that's themed to the black hole. One Nation is doom, 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 doom. Or is that knee deep? What is One Nation? Well, anyway, you know.
Wait.
Forgot where I was going. But anyway, for the band, the way they're playing right now, the way things set up now, in my mind, for P-Funk to be where it is now. Now, of course, we ain't talking about stadium tours. My buddy follows Pearl Jam. And he went to Australia and saw him, you know, he followed all around the world and see him. You know, see him like 4 or 5 nights in a row, et cetera, et cetera. But they play stadiums. I'm not sure how I would feel or be if P-Funk was to play stadiums. Now, granted, I would love and understand. I'd be happy for the band, for them to be successful, for them to sell out stadiums, all of them be rich or whatever. I don't know how it works, but you know, you just figure the idea for a band to sell out stadiums. You know, there's a lot of money and revenue and et cetera, at a different level. But what I've had with people, being able to be right fucking there, to be able to be right there, front row, look at Mr. Clinton in their eyes, versus a band at a level where they have to play stadiums and you're 50 feet away. That idea going to see Beyonce, and you sitting in a stadium, up in the club, or up in the rafters, up in nosebleeds, and you really can't even see the people. Yeah, there was a time when that excited me. There was a time where I went and saw the Motor Booty Fair tour. You know, we didn't have the best seats in the world, but they weren't the worst, and you know, it was my first one, so it was my first one. It was overwhelming. It was just too much going on. It was just overwhelming. It was either Pittsburgh, it was the Richfield Coliseum or the Civic Arena in Pittsburgh. Either one. It was a bus. Anyway, from Youngstown. Anyway, so the intimacy that I get, I've seen this band do it on a stage that just small, but right there. So I've had that experience for the last 20 years. So they may have missed out on that. And I may be, from where I see it, they may have missed out on that. But all those years I was able to have, you know, that type of intimacy with the band. And they hone their skills and maybe business abilities and management and this and that to where I think, I don't know, I'm speculating that the Clinton family owns all of that. The Clinton family should or kind of get the bulk of the revenue. The band itself, because it's not, you know, I don't think that a deal or they owe somebody else or, you know, management, I don't know, you know, I'm just thinking they own it. So whatever happens now, they're gonna get like a maximum return because it's theirs. They're not going through this, they're not going through that. And if they can put it together to where it can blow up into something while they're still getting the maximum return because, you know, they're doing all the work themselves. I mean, this landing of the Mothership thing, like I said, I could be wrong, and I like being wrong because I don't know everything, and quite frankly, don't want to know everything. If they land this Mothership, and the way the music's playing, and they can hit that nerve to where they play at bigger venues and have it all, not controlled, but you know, all in-house. That could definitely be something. That could definitely be something, because, you know, I just like to have, you know, optimistic or whatever. I don't know if the word is optimism, or, you know, foresee and just imagine, you know, imagine all of them getting rich. And then as soon as they get rich, the snap's gonna go away. As soon as they get rich, they're gonna get fat and lazy. You know how human beings are, I'm just saying. Like Rome fell. I think what may have kept this band going was the struggle. And if they, you know, if they can handle themselves and they can put this on themselves and they do it all themselves, ching ching for them. Keep it in the family, literally. Can you imagine you, Mr. Clinton? Keep it in the family. Man, that's it. I mean, keep it in the family. That's on the highest level. Because it's all about, if it's all about evolution and it's all about offspring, if the only reason we are here as human beings is to produce offspring and to continue the species, to put your family and legacy in a position to go forward like that has to be one of the highest metrics there is for a human being. To develop this thing. They developed it. They developed PfunkFest. Well, they all did. Mr. Clinton, I guess you could, is the one they point to. The word genius has been used, that he knew how to do certain things and had the charisma. You know, that's all part of it. Charisma is definitely a part of it. Being slick, but not stupid, strong when you need to be, and forceful, and sometimes you gotta make calls that are legal or illegal, but still having fun, still getting your thing on, pursuing your dream. So yesterday I bought a VIP ticket to go to this P-Funk, and you know what? I was just thinking, I was gonna say to go to this PfunkFest.com thing, whatever that is. There was a time where I would come at it cynically like that. There was a time that was my tone. About, oh boy, here we go. P-Funk trying to do this now. They gonna mess this up. Blah, blah, blah. I wonder how they gonna do this. I wonder what, you know. I may have gotten old. I may have gotten soft. Or this band and this organization may have shown me that they don't deserve that no more. That's not been my experience, recent experience of, you know, things being halfway done. This, you know, not this, they trying to do this and this fall out, and they try to do that and that fall through. That hasn't been my recent experience, so I can't even be sarcastic like that and say, oh, yeah, we'll see what this damn PfunkFest.com thing gonna be. Blah, 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 blah. We're gonna see what these Negroes gonna do. Probably gonna put us out in the middle of a field and go to Costco and get a bunch of roasted chickens and throw barbecue sauce on them and call it a party. I can't even fake that anymore, even as a character, because that's not been my experience. Everything I do has to have at least 40% of integrity to it. Has to have some kind of validity. Like I say, everything I say, there's truth in everything I say. It may not be complete. I may distort it on purpose. I may throw it out there so there's taken the wrong way intentionally. But underlying everything I say, there's truth, and truth that I believe in. So I can't even say, I can't even clown or act like that anymore when it comes to P-Funk. Because they're proven to me that, well, the reliability's always been there. I don't think Mr. Clinton ever missed a date. Because there was a time back in the day. Hey, what's up? How far does it go?
How far does the trail go?
Yeah.
It pops out to Bryn Mawr right here, at least this section, and then it keeps going. I don't know how far it goes from there, but...
Bryn Mawr?
Yeah, it's the very next street, or the next light.
Oh, right there, okay.
Yep.
That's so far, okay. Yeah, because I know I've been coming from that way, but this is new, so.
Yep.
Good job, man.
Almost done.
Good job. Anyhow. So I can't even clown like that. And like I said, I look at the website. I'm looking at everything. I'm looking at the website. I don't look at misspellings anymore, but I'm checking the wording. I'm checking if I click this, what happens. I like how the website slides back and forth, how the things pop up, how it scrolls. I love the colors. That black, on that black and those colors, that red. I like the PfunkFest.com. So I'm excited. So, when the time came, I saw the ticket was on. So now what I will say this, I'm not getting any alerts. I want to get an alert every goddamn time they change a word or a letter on that website. I'm not getting any. And there was definitely some updates and alerts being put up. Because they put the tickets on sale and they change their pictures and they do this, they add this. I want to know every goddamn time something is added to that website or changed. But it may not work that way. It's probably just, for public announcement, public updates, which should have been in my inbox saying the tickets went on sale. Because of course, I wanted to be the first one. Of course, I wanted to be the first one to buy a ticket, goddammit, kiss my black ass. I'm Jeffery Scott Mitchell, goddammit. Jeffery Pure Funk Mitchell. Jeffery P Funk 1. Jeffery TV. Blah, blah, blah. I wanted to be the first one, so. And I didn't get the meet and greet. I couldn't went in and spent the money on the meet and greet. But I'm cheap, let's just face it. I always got to cut a corner when I don't need to. But I knew I wasn't going to get no general admission ticket. Plus, I wanted to support. And that damn ticket cost $400. So, you just sitting there at work right before lunch, just kind of chilling. And all of a sudden now you got to drop $400. And you could have waited. I could have waited. And hopefully it may or may not go this way. But, I know me buying a ticket this early, if I wait, the price gonna go down. Especially if it's general admission. If it's general admission, you can wait. But if it's, you get a seat, you gotta get that seat early. You gotta get that seat as soon as they go on sale. And I knew a couple times, more than once, I'm sitting there, they go tickets, buy one, get one free closer to the date of the show. And I could have waited and still got in the front row and worked everything out. But this, I wanted to support. Like I said, I had a disposable income where I can show my support. Plus, hopefully be one of the first ones to get the VIP ticket. I mean, it's the least I can do. It's the least, like I tell the musicians, from what I get from y'all, this little bit of bullshit money I'm giving to come see y'all ain't worth it. I'm sitting there watching Mr. Barry Chanel undo all these drums and pack all these drums and move this and move that. And I feel for him. But that's what he do. You know, I always look at him and watch him. They got a system, you know, how they do things and how they, you know, make it most efficient. And sometimes helping them makes it harder because they just got it down and, you know, they got the way they want to do it and how they, you know, their routine. But I'm like, you come out here, you know, I pay a little bit of money. You give me, oh, I ain't got nothing for breakfast. Jesus, I ain't got nothing for breakfast. I might have to make a run. Cause I left my breakfast, I bought chicken and grits and stuff and kibasi and I left it at work. They're gonna throw it away. I might stop by work on the way in just to see if they got it. Cause I'm cheap like that, but they're gonna throw it away. They're gonna clean it out. I think it used to be they clean out the refrigerators on Friday, everything goes. So, we'll see. But, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, so I'm excited. Flying into Tallahassee, Jesus Christ. They want $600, $500 to fly into Tallahassee. What the fuck? Fly to Orlando for like $200. Fly to Orlando, but then again, I'll take that back. I looked at the prices from LAX to Cleveland and Pittsburgh. They want $300. That's in April, while school is still in. And I remember stuff getting a Spirit and Frontier and all them. I remember, hell, I paid $99 round trip one time. I was paying like $130, $140, and this was not, you know, like 40 years ago. This was like 5, 6, 7, 8 years ago or so. And the price steady went up. Now they want $300, like $289, $287 round trip to Cleveland. So prices are going up, I get it. But Tallahassee, LAX to Tallahassee, $500. And that's the like lowest. I'm like, whoa. So people talking about flying, but you flying to Jacksonville, it's $360. You flying to Jacksonville, it's like $360. And you gotta drive 2.5 hours. So you save maybe $150. Well, that's 5 hours. That comes out to $30 an hour. Basically. And if I go by, like Richie Shagan Nagin pointed out to me years ago, he said, you take how much you make an hour and you transpose that on top of what you'll save to sacrifice time. Is it worth it? Is that above or below, you know, what you get paid to do? But I can't, it's not a direct comparison, but you get an idea. You know, if I fly to Jacksonville and have to drive 6 hours, how much is that worth, basically? How much is that actually worth? And you stop, and it's think of time, 20 years, 100 years, 50, 60 years from now, I'm laying on my deathbed, and I say, damn, I drove 6 hours to save $100. What was on my mind? It really don't matter. That $100 ain't mean a damn thing. At that time, you know, you feel it differently. So, more than likely, I'm gonna be spending that damn money. But then again, I don't know, 2.5 hour ride is not that bad. But I'm only gonna be there for like maybe one day. So, if I'm only there for that one day. Oh, here's another thing. I may fly to Ohio after that, before or after that. So that might cut some of the price down. I'll get one-way ticket. Get a one-way ticket to Cleveland. And I go to Cleveland and I stay in, you know, with visit granddaughter and family, and then fly from Cleveland to Pittsburgh to LA, where the prices should be a little bit more economically pleasing. But anyway, it's fun to figure it out. I like doing it. I like doing it this way. I like it. I like it. And one thing, I do have stuff that I feel is like sacred, and it may be superstition or whatever, things that I shy away from talking about because kind of don't want to put it out there. But the LA Maggots playing the PfunkFest, to me, would be, you know, it'd be such a thing that I could barely talk about it. It'd be such a thing to me that I don't even want to articulate it. And the way I look at it, this is the first PfunkFest. There'll be one next year. They were saying, I was talking to who I believe are the principals in this thing. And they were telling me, yeah, next year maybe we're gonna have panels and talks and all that. And I turned and looked and I was like, yep, that's the thinking. That's the idea. I mean, they were trying to grow it the way that I think, you know, just personally. I think it may help to develop it. They have panels, groups, make it for like 2 days. Make it for 2 days and, you know, fill it up with stuff. You know, that's the thinking. That's proper thinking, or whatever you want to call it. So maybe Maggots play next year or whatever, but that would be something. And my idea too, you have all these P-Funk bands, right? I don't give a damn. I don't give a damn if every single one of them play Cosmic Slop. I don't give a damn. In fact, it should be a requirement. Then when your band play, you gotta open up with Cosmic Slop. So during the night, day, from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. or whatever, we hear 9 different versions of Cosmic Slop or something. I mean, overlap, you know, because sometimes openers don't want the opening band, the headliner don't want the opening band playing their songs. I don't know how that works. But there's some ethics in there and there's some professionalism or whatever, standard the way bands do stuff. But I don't care. I would want them all to come out, play Cosmic Slop. Let's take it to the stage, baby. Let's take it to the stage. What you got? So that's where I'm at right now. I'm in a good position. I'm in a good space. I'm feeling good physically. Work, I got my performance review, my numbers, stats from last month. It's like 125, probably the highest I've been in a long time. And to be honest with you, I'm not really doing my best. I'm literally not doing my best. I found a loophole in the rating system that allowed me to take my foot off the gas if I do it this certain way. And it helps with my sanity. And like my supervisor said, you know, she kind of hinted at or even said, you know, you can slow down a little bit. You know, because when I first came in here, I was killer. I was just eating it up. I was chewing stuff up. I was chewing stuff up like I'm watching these kids do now. Come in here, all sharp and AI and computers and it's just so sharp and ready. They are hungry out there killing it. And I'm like, ooh, okay. But, so I'm feeling good that way. My sinuses are feeling good. Still smoking them damn Black & Milds. They don't seem to be affecting me negatively for whatever reason. So, feet don't hurt, back don't hurt, no headaches or sinuses, breathing easily, walking. My walking is improved. I walk the same distance a lot faster now. I notice I'm getting back home earlier on my walks, even at the same time. And then this P-Funk stuff coming up in April. Trying to build, I got 23 hours of PTO and try to put together a few weeks of not taking a day off because we want to build that up. And this will be the 4th day of this pay period. If I complete today's work, one day at a time. One day at a time, let's get through it and close that out, lock it down, build that PTO. So it's sunshiny, as you can see. I enjoyed everybody's snow pictures and snow video that they posted, because that's where I'm from. I'm from that. So, I do have, there's definitely some appeal or some whatever that I have with, the snow and the back east and people that they plows, everybody showing I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed everybody showing off their snow pics. My daughter got out there, shoveled her snow. I like her attitude. I like the way she presented it, the unspoken message behind it. That she got out there herself, did it herself. That's how we roll, me and her. We ain't trying to be no commune group socialistic thing. It's about us and you. And not in a bad way, not so much in, mine, yours. More in a, you handle your business, I handle mine. More of in a, probably conservative, I guess, kind of, where she got out there, she wanted to show that she did the snow herself, posted pictures. That's right, I know the feel. I know the feel. Look at me walking around talking to a camera all the time, showing off my life. That's showing off, that might be it. It might be showing off in a certain way you do it, the way it ain't really look like showing off. I know I do it. Y'all probably know it too. Look at this Negro. He ain't got to be doing all of that. Why he got to be always posting the da-da-da? Because I'm Jeffery Scott Mitchell, God damn it. And one of the things I've always wanted to do was to be that person. I always wanted to have a space where I can say and do any goddamn thing I wanted. Internet came with a public space where I can expound and philosophize and guess and be wrong and say this and criticize that. Unapologetically and uncensored. I remember back in 1997 when I realized that. I remember where I was sitting and how that moment hit me. You mean I can get pfunk1.com and put anything I want to up there and no Prodigy or CompuServe or AOL can censor anything I say? There's no governing body that can tell me I can't post that or I can't say that? I remember that feeling. Now look at me. Now look at your boy. Jeffery TV. When I made that transition to get everything off of pfunk1.com because I didn't want what I'm doing to be associated that directly with anything. Actually, directly, period. I don't want to have nobody with any ability to say anything about anything. This is Jeffery TV. It's all about me. And I have full jurisdiction. Nobody can say anything. That's pretty much, I ain't gonna say all I wanted, but you know, and here I am, here we are. Here we are, autonomy. I'm a believer, autonomy. And I love what I do, what I am, what the people around me are capable of, the people around me. Went to see Slapback and Trulio the other night, just being Jeffrey. And this is pretty much exactly where the hell I wanted to be all my life. What and who? Where's my friend at? Oh, where'd he go? Did I miss him? Oh, it must be the other. So that's where we're at. PfunkFest.org, and there's gonna be some. I'm gonna spend some money. I got some money. I ain't want to say like I got money. What I meant was, I've already resigned it. I'm gonna end up spending some money this summer. It's gonna be some money spent. Cutting corners is only gonna go so far. And with this Essence Festival thing going on, the Mothership, and this and that, I'm gonna spend some money. And so I'm just trying to get myself ready for that. Because though my financial foundation may be fairly solid, this disposable income, I'm still cheap. I'm still frugal. I'm still economical. I still want to get the best deal. And I enjoy hunting and looking for that best deal, trying to outsmart the system and get the best return on my money, et cetera, et cetera. So, but maybe the PfunkFest, I probably just sold out. Whatever y'all want. All in. I'm all in. Push all the chips. Whatever you need. Whatever you want. I'm in. All right. I'm going for it. And I'm going for it to be comfortable. I'm going for it. Here's where my friend usually be. Let's see if he's here. You ain't here? There's the big one. Where they at? He ain't here. Oh. Where Mr. Loudmouth at? So we're gonna get ready for summer 2026. It's gonna be one. And I got some other stuff coming up as far as my mother's estate, and caregiving for her and this and that. It's just gonna be some money. There is going to be money spent, invested, hopefully, and it will be a return. Anyhow, swinging on y'all 2 times. For me, for the funk. And for every elementary particle that has ever existed in this or in any universe that ever was, is, or will be. The totality of it all, theory of universe, hypothesis of all as one. My name is Jeffery Pure Funk Mitchell.